All right, good morning, everyone. Rich Clark, Executive Director of the College Football Playoff. Not a rookie anymore, so, well, I probably still am, but I'm gonna try to say I'm not. But welcome, and thank you for being here right now. We just have a few remarks to make and really move towards this transition. And transitions are always important, and we're gonna have a great handoff to Miami. But first, I want to talk a little bit about what happened here in Atlanta because it was special. We started on this work a long time ago. Our committee, the Atlanta Host Council, and especially with Dan Corso, the president of the Atlanta Sports Council, the team was just fabulous. And we got a lot done to be ready for this, and having that advanced planning really allowed us to be flexible, because when you have a plan in place, you have something to work off of and flex as necessary. And I thought things just went swimmingly, if that's a word that you can use in football. But some of the things that we're very excited about from the strategic picture is that because Atlanta was so strong in supporting this, that we really capped off a good 12-team playoff. And it allowed us to do it in a way that we can now look back, because it did go so well, we can look back and make the kinds of changes that we need to present to the commissioners. I will say that this playoff got huge kudos from the fan base. 88% of people said that they think that the 12-team playoff is the way to go, or at least the expanded playoff is the way to go. And that's a huge approval factor. You don't see 88% approval on much of anything these days. In fact, that might be just the number of people that didn't know how to fill out the survey, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm calling it 100%, but technically 88%, right? And that's pretty good. Our commissioners will definitely step back and take a look to see how it went. But from our standpoint, the first round, the campus games were fabulous. The quarterfinals and the semifinals that our bowl partners put on were just amazing. But then to cap it off with what Atlanta did for us here was the right thing. And it was a great game, but I think we set a nice bar for all of us to continue to work on. As a coach of mine used to say, there's no end to better, and we're gonna always try to get better, and we will next year. As well as every year after that. So I'm very pleased with how this went. I think the commissioners are very happy with how it went, and our teams, especially Ohio State, are extremely happy with the 12-team playoff. So it met the goals that we were after, and it brought teams in that hadn't been in before, or maybe not as often, but it gave them an opportunity to really fight for that championship. So very excited about it. And along with the game, the events that surrounded the game were really spectacular too. Well attended, even with the cold. We still had people come to the concerts, to the Taste of the Championship, to the Fan Fest and playoff playlist live. All of those kinds of things really went well. And we want that, because we want the whole city to have a touch point with the championship. And even if they can't get to the game, they can come be a part of something, some event that's related to it, and then maybe go watch it at home. And equally important is we were able to do some community service. We went to Martin Luther King Middle School and presented them with some significant sums of money to help improve schools, their school, and for their teachers. We also went to Hope Hill Elementary School yesterday and had a community service project that basically we packed their gym with people, fans, some of our supporters for CFP, to do bags for teachers and for some of the families of students that were in need. And it was just a well-attended event and something that we were all very proud of, but it also built some excitement for the things beyond the football game that CFP is proud of, and that's important to us. The CFP Foundation gives, like in the last 10 years, $80 million, 550,000 teachers touched, and 550,000 schools, and just an amazing program that we are proud of because it's the foundation. Our teachers are our foundation. They're the ones that get those players on the field for us, and we take great pride in that. So everything that went on here in Atlanta was just spectacular. Dan Corso, our law enforcement officials, our first responders, the city government, everybody was just amazing. And I couldn't thank the city of Atlanta enough for what they did for us. So with that, I would like to introduce the man of the event and really now a great friend of mine, the president of the Atlanta Sports Council, Dan Corso.
Well, good morning. First, I want to apologize for my voice. It is a sign of a successful weekend, so we'll just leave it at that. But congratulations to Rich and the incredible staff at the CFP, Byron Hatch, and many, many others on an incredible weekend. This journey started in August of 2022 when we were named the host city for this great event. And at that time, the playoff was a 4-team playoff. And then in December of 2022, the playoff expanded to 12 teams, and that shifted our game date back 2 weeks to this weekend. And so I just want to credit the CFP and really give them a great deal of credit for vision and working with our partners on our host committee. William Pate from the ACVB is here today. Tim Zolowski representing AMBSE, whom you'll hear from shortly. Our city officials and other groups on our host committee. We are the first city to serve as a repeat host for this great event, hosting our first time back in 2018. And working with the CFP, the idea was how do we be a repeat city without a repeat experience? And I think we showcased that in a great way this weekend. Only 2 venues were used for fan-related events that were used in 2018, 2 same venues. So we were able to expand our footprint, bring new venues online, showcase other elements of our great city, of our great downtown to host these fan events. I think that kind of underscores the idea of we're a repeat city, but it's going to be a different experience. And so I think it culminated with a great game last night and having a Notre Dame and Ohio State matchup, something different for our city, being in the Southeast. To have those blue bloods come in, iconic brands in an iconic city on a special day like MLK Day, it just really all came together very, very nicely. And can't say enough for the CFP and their team working closely with all our host committee and our organizations involved in the host committee getting this event going. I've said this a couple times this week, and I'll say it again. If you were to match a sport and a city together, you will not find a better combination than college football in Atlanta. It just goes hand in hand. We are college football here. It's part of our culture. It's part of our DNA, and we do it really well. And in order to do it really well, you have to have a fantastic stadium. And it showed off last night again why we have the top stadium in the world, both from just a fan experience and an experiential and aesthetic-wise. It just sets up so well, surrounded by all of the hotel rooms where people walked to and from their hotel to all the fan events into the stadium. So the footprint showed off well. The city officials kept things going. People were safe. It was just a great experience. And again, it all ended last night in that great stadium. So with that, I'm going to hand off to my partner, Tim Zolowski, president of AMBSE, who organizes and owns the stadium. And Tim, come on up and say a few words.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I had the privilege earlier the week to hear the executive chairman, Mr. Clark, General Clark, speak about community coming together from creating stone soup to beef stew. And it takes a complete community to put on events like this. They're not shy to us here in Atlanta. As you know, College Football Championship, Final Four Super Bowls, we look to bring them here and show off the state of Georgia and the city of Atlanta. But it takes everybody. It takes the CFP choosing us. So with that, I'd like to thank, obviously, the executive chairman for that decision. Also, the past executive chairman, Mr. Hancock, as well as Byron Hatch and Brett Daniels for choosing the state of Georgia, city of Atlanta, and giving us the opportunity to put on the show that was this past weekend, specifically last night. You bear with me a minute because there's a lot of people to have some gratitude towards. the public officials who choose to support these endeavors. Thank you. From the governor, lieutenant governor, speaker of the House on down, we have full support, both locally, the mayor, locally the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia, in order to put on these types of events. To the associates on our team and working in conjunction with the host committee, people don't realize it takes multiple thousands of individuals to welcome people to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And hopefully for those who were in the stadium last night or had an opportunity to watch on TV, you saw people welcome to the masses, obviously from Notre Dame and Ohio State and just general college football fans. I'm sure I'm going to miss some folks from a gratitude perspective. But again, going back to the executive chairman's discussion or conversation about a community coming together, that's exactly what you saw last night. I don't leave the opportunity to speak about the CFP without an ask that it comes back again. So Dan spoke about repeating. I'll put us on the docket for as soon as the CFP wants to return to Atlanta. The state of Georgia, we're ready to host you. And with that, I'll turn it to the executive chairman for further comments.
Thank you, Tim and Dan, both great partners. There was one other shout out. Excuse me, Tim got us to Wall Street, and we went to the stock exchange, and he, with the help of Arthur Blank, got us up there, and I actually got to push the button on Wall Street. Highlight of my life, but the stock market went right down as soon as I pushed it. But you know what? That's okay. It was pretty cool. So I want to thank them for all of the extra things that went on throughout this whole event. And one other extra thing that I'll talk about right now is a tradition that CFP has. And putting helmet stickers onto helmets is something that is long-time tradition in football. And we at CFP are no different. We have a helmet sticker that our amazing partners are able to place their sticker on here. And we're about to place one on, the first person to put their sticker on here twice, or the first city to put their sticker on here twice. And Dan is going to do that for us now. And it is going to go right here. And we're very excited about this. So, Dan, if you would come up and do the honors. Oh. Okay, we talked about transitions, and here's the transition point. We are now moving to another great city, great American city, Miami. And we're going to start off with a video because it will say everything that I couldn't even imagine. So let's roll the video.
Miami, it's time. We're bringing college football's greatest pride back to the Magic City. Back to the land of palm trees, beaches, and beautiful sights, where the spirit of college football is as prominent as the Miami skyline. Home to explosive semifinals and timeless championships. A city defined by resiliency and passion is once again home to the game that demands both. It's where the Kings built a dynasty, where a jump pass solidified his place amongst the greatest ever, and with Devontae Patrick, the stuff of legends. Where the field itself is a canvas of art and glory that matches the vibrancy of the community. We're back at one of college football's most hallowed grounds. The stage is set, the legacy continues. College football's grandest night returns to the heart of Miami.
And now we actually transition, and I want to introduce who's become a great friend of mine since we have been in Miami already for some visits, and certainly with the Orange Bowl with Eric Palms and his team. But now I would like to introduce the chairman of the CFP Host Committee for the 2026 championship, Mr. Jack Seiler.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Rich, and good morning to everyone out here in this brisk Atlanta morning. We are thrilled to be here on behalf of Miami, all of South Florida, and the 2026 College Football Playoff National Championship Game Host Committee. I want to start with a huge congratulations to Notre Dame and Ohio State. What a tremendous season for both teams, and obviously Ohio State with their national championship. Congratulations. Also, though, just a real big congratulations and thank you to Dan Corso. His Atlanta Football Host Committee had a tremendous weekend, had a great game. But most importantly, Dan has just been so gracious and generous with his time with our host committee. And Dan, thank you for your leadership. Also, congratulations to College Football Playoff Board of Managers, the management committee, the playoff staff, obviously led by Rich Clark, previously by Bill Hancock. And, you know, leadership means something. And when you see the impact that both Bill Hancock had and now Rich Clark, obviously General Clark, they have done built a tremendous event over the last 11 years. We were honored to have had the opportunity to host the CFP National Championship game in 2021, despite that unprecedented challenge presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. We're excited once again to host the game and our surrounding events in beautiful Miami. Beyond our weather, we obviously have a world-class destination with beautiful hotels, beaches, restaurants, nightlife, and all the other attractions in the South Florida area. We've hosted All-Star Games, World Series, Stanley Cup Finals, NBA Championships, heavyweight championship fights, the Miami Open, the Formula One, Crypto.com, Miami Grand Prix, NASCAR Championships, World Golf Championships, and 11 Super Bowls. And now we're getting to bring this college football playoff back to that venue. The 2026 CFP National Championship game will be our 22nd College Football National Championship in South Florida. And obviously football is a religion in South Florida. When you see all the recruits coming out of that area, especially on the field last night with both teams. We are now officially 364 days away from our 2026 College Football Playoff National Championship game. It'll be held on January 19th. 2 weeks earlier, we will be hosting the playoff quarterfinal at the 92nd Capital One Orange Bowl on January 1st. Both games will be held at what we now call a global entertainment destination. Hard Rock Stadium, home to the Miami Dolphins, the CFP playoff and quarterfinals at the Capital One Orange Bowl, University of Miami football, the Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix, as I mentioned, the Miami Open. We do want to publicly thank our owner, Steve Ross, for the Miami Dolphins, along with President and CEO Tom Garfinkel for their unwavering support. 2026 will be a milestone year in South Florida. We have the NHL Winter Games starting off the year in 2026. We have the World Baseball Classic in March. We have the FIFA World Cup 26 in June and July. And then, of course, this unbelievable national championship game. I do want to thank our host committee. It is a true tri-county partnership. It starts with the Orange Bowl committee and mentioned Eric Palms, the Miami Dolphins and Hard Rock Stadium. And joining us today from that host committee, let me just briefly introduce Executive Committee members Al Dotson Jr., Brian May, Pam Roush, Ron Albert, and Frank Gonzalez. The President and CEO of the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, David Whitaker. What a tremendous supporter he is. Orange Bowl Committee President and Chair in his first day on the job, Henry Crockett. And then we've got Orange Bowl Committee immediate past President Brad Hauser, Host Committee and board member Christina Barney, and then, of course, the others that have joined us here. We're also extremely grateful for the tremendous public support we've received for this event, which generates an economic impact in the hundreds of millions in South Florida. I want to thank Miami-Dade County, represented today by District 1 Commissioner Oliver Gilbert and Chief Operations Officer Jimmy Morales. You'll hear from them in a second. City of Miami, the City of Miami Beach, the City of Miami Gardens, the State of Florida, and our Governor Ron DeSantis, and the Florida Sports Foundation. Finally, I would like to enthusiastically mention our wide-ranging plans for the Extra Yard for Teachers program throughout the South Florida region. After working closely with CFP Foundation, led by Britton Bronowski, we have collectively agreed on a platform focused on middle school redesigns. We've already finalized a $2 million partnership with Miami-Dade County Public Schools, and we're actively working on partnerships with Broward County Public Schools and Palm Beach County Public Schools to have that kind of impact on the middle school students. So on behalf of South Florida, I want to express how proud we are to host the 2026 College Football Playoff National Championship game in Miami, and we cannot wait to extend our world-class hospitality to the college football community. We look forward to seeing all of you for our championship weekend at Hard Rock Stadium for the game on January 19th of 2026. But before I continue, I'm going to ask our assistant Mike Leota to come up. We have a special present, little taste of South Florida we want to give to General Richard Clark. And don't open that just so fast there, General, if I may give an order to a general, in fact. But in all seriousness, we actually had the good fortune of having dinner at that restaurant, you and your lovely wife, Amy, just a few weeks ago. But we have a key lime pie from the iconic Joe's Stone Crab in Miami Beach, and we are presenting that to you, Rich Clark, as a little token of our appreciation, but a little reminder of what the taste of South Florida will be like. I do want to publicly say, too, to the gentleman that just was so wonderful to work with, Dan Corso. Dan, I've got one of those pies back there for you, too. So you get a chance to get a little bit of taste of South Florida as you remain here in Atlanta. But now I would like to ask the Commissioner of Miami-Dade County, Oliver Gilbert, who is the Commissioner for that region that has our stadium, to come up and say a few words. Commissioner Gilbert?
No, we're not going to tell his wife that pie is very good. It's the best key lime pie in all of America. We're not going to tell her at all. I'm Oliver Gilbert. I'm a county commissioner for District 1, former mayor of Miami Gardens, and that's important because Hard Rock Stadium is in Miami Gardens. You know, this is, at first, let me thank Rich Clark. Rich, what you all did, how you hosted this championship is extraordinary. Listen, you managed to make us feel warm even though it was freezing outside. It was a true testament to what people can do when they collect themselves as a community and actually purpose themselves on hosting world-class events. We know something in Miami-Dade County about hosting world-class events. And we don't just host them at our stadium, just like they didn't just host it at their stadium. We host it at Miami Beach in our hotels and our restaurants. We host it on Brickell in the city of Miami. We host it in Miami Gardens where those games are played. And most of all, we host it with our hearts. You know, 53% of the people who live in Miami-Dade County were born someplace else. They came from different countries and different parts of this country. It's easy for us to make you feel at home because the chances are is that you're coming someplace that the people who are making this home right now, they're making Miami-Dade County great right now, are from there too. We welcome them to Miami-Dade County. We host world-class events and we do it well. I'm proud to say that we have next for the College Football Championship. I'm proud to say that. I would just add also that it's more than football. You know, they touched on it a little bit, but the legacy gifts and the College Football Championship and the Orange Bowl Committee, now headed by Henry Crockett out there, the new president, and Eric Palm's executive director. What you all are doing in communities is more than just somebody winning the national championship on a field that night. In Miami Gardens, for instance, my hometown, the place where I was mayor, we just broke ground on the redesign of a park, Walt Frazier Park. He was a high school coach who put a lot of young men in college football and put a lot of young men in the pros. You know, ironically, that field that we're redoing, one of the stars from last night, Jeremiah Smith, played his Optimist football on that field. That field is 5 minutes from the stadium where maybe he'll be coming back to win another national championship next year. What you're doing in the Boys and Girls Club down south in South Miami by actually investing in an Orange Bowl field so these young folks can actually have good amenities to play football on and to enjoy that family time and that community time. And football is a religion in Miami-Dade County. What you're doing, again, in the north part of our county, in stepping out of the idea of football and saying, hey, we're going to invest and partner with the county and the city of Miami Gardens in building a science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics center. Because we understand that we're investing in students, not just student athletes. We're investing in everyone. What college football does is more than a game. And that's why It's my joy, it's my pride. I'm proud to actually be up here and represent my constituents in Dade County and saying, welcome to Miami-Dade County. We got next. I'm going to bring up Jimmy Morales. Jimmy is the Chief Operating Officer for Miami-Dade County. He's representing our wonderful mayor, Daniela Levine Cava. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Gilbert. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jimmy Morales, Chief Operating Officer for Miami-Dade County. I want to thank, and congratulate and thank the City of Atlanta, the host committee, CFP, for just an incredible weekend of events, a great national championship game, but also really for being mentors to us. A lot of us came on this trip to not just enjoy a great game and some great parties, but also to get some briefings and seminars on how to put on these great events. Because even though we've got that in our DNA, we are a community of hospitality in South Florida. We always want to learn, and this, there was a lot we learned, and we really appreciate it. On behalf of our mayor, Daniela Levine Cava, who couldn't be here, I do want to extend our gratitude about the honor to host next year's college football's premier event, the 2026 CFP National Championship game in Miami. We say Miami, but we mean Miami Gardens, and certainly in Miami-Dade County. As you know, we had a successful effort in 2021, despite the challenges presented by the pandemic, and we're excited and appreciate the opportunity you gave our community to fully showcase what we can do in 2026. I mentioned our DNA is about hospitality. It's in our beautiful beaches. It's in our incredible facilities like Hard Rock Stadium, like the Miami Beach Convention Center, and the beautiful weather. I would say today's low is going to be 64 in South Florida, so we certainly welcome you all next year, hopefully, to some beautiful weather. And I do want to, on behalf of a lot of government officials who came on this trip, I was accompanied by our fire chief at the county and by one of the deputy sheriffs. So the city of Miami was here with their city manager, their police chief, and their fire chief. Same with the city of Miami Beach. And so we on these public officials, we really appreciate the time your fire chief and police chief and security folks and others spent with us. And we certainly look forward to pay it forward during next year's event. I also want to acknowledge, we view them as our partners as well. David Whitaker and Matt Ratner from the Convention Visitors Bureau in Miami. I mentioned our other city partners, also Miami Gardens, all of our public safety and emergency management folks. And obviously, I also happen to be a member of the Orange Bowl Committee, Eric Palms and Jack and all the folks who are here. It's not possible without their great leadership for many, many, many years. So we are ready. We're going to be prepared, and thanks to you, we'll be as prepared as possible. We're looking forward to working with the CFP as we continue to more thoroughly plan and process, and hopefully next year, with those key lime pies, you'll have some stone crabs as well. All right, thank you all.
Well, that closes out our session today, but I want to just say once again, thank you to the city of Atlanta, the entirety of the city for welcoming us and making this such a great, historic first 12-team playoff, and certainly to Dan Corso and his team. And we are very excited to be going to Miami for the next 12-team playoff, and we know it's going to be incredible. So thank you all for being here. And right now, I think we're going to come up on the stage with some of Team South Florida, and we'll get a picture, although it's only 2 weeks till we have our next planning meeting, February 4th. So we'll take this picture now so we remember each other, and we'll show it to each other in 2 weeks. But thank you, everyone.
I look here first. Good, guys. Good. Everybody else good? Eric? Eric?
You want to jump right up first. Yes. Even if you can slide a little bit, you know?
All right, here we go, guys. Right there first.
All right, yes. Going up. Another group coming up. The rest of the Miami host committee. Safe travels.
All right, everybody, can you see me? See me, I can see you. Right, there you go. There you go. All right, here we go. All right, good. Okay. Good. Good. Good.
All right, gentlemen, to your left of me.